weight of a nation, the eyes of the world. On home soil, the Stars and Stripes are writing a brand new chapter in U.S. soccer history, and the pressure has never been higher. The final whistle has blown, the smoke has settled, and our coverage is just heating up. From the tactical battlegrounds to the moments that define a new generation, we are leaving absolutely nothing on the table. From the Empty the Bench Network, this is your exclusive Team USA World Cup post-match reaction show as we empty the pitch.
Play free bird, baby. Hello again, my friends. Welcome into a reaction of USMNT men's soccer and, of course, the World Cup here from Southern California. Right as it goes, final from Seattle. The Team USA is through to the knockout stage, and there might be more lingering out there as the men's national team knocks off the Socceroos 2-0 from Seattle and moves on to the round of 32, but can still win the group tonight, barring a Paraguay victory or a draw against Turkey. Hello again, my friends. Callan and McClurg back with me here today on our post-match reaction show alongside our producer and engineer behind the scenes, Nick Morgeson, here this afternoon as Team USA again does it again with another own goal in minute 11 and a beautiful goal from Alex Freeman to capture victory in a very physical and chippy affair between them and Australia from Seattle Stadium on this Friday afternoon to get the day started for the entire World Cup. As always, folks, we're here for roughly the next 30 minutes or so today because we're kind of short on time when it comes to the work schedule today, though. However, as always, folks, go and follow the show on social media over at Empty the Pitch on Twitter and Instagram. And, of course, follow the network on social media over on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And please like and subscribe over at youtube.com/ETB Network as we continue to gain more watch hours and get closer to both 3,000 and 4,000 watch hours. Another great day for Team USA Soccer. As we already said, they have again defeated Australia 2-0 from Seattle as they do, in fact, punch their spot in the round of 32, but still more to play for this evening for Team USA. Coming up at 8 o'clock Pacific time, all eyes now are going to be on Paraguay and Turkey. If Paraguay should win or tie, that will clinch Team USA Group D as the number one seed and almost in a way make that final game with Turkey almost null and void come next Friday back at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Again, as we said, though, folks, a very chippy affair, a very much another hot start for Team USA. But, of course, the big news off the top of the show, though, here today, Christian Pulisic trained all week on backfields in Irvine, California, and elected not to play today per Mauricio Pochettino's pregame press conference with Jenny Taft, not wanting to risk the injury further. It actually did come out per reporting done by Jenny Taft. The injury actually was suffered in training by one of his teammates, so a little friendly fire there. So I even, was telling Nick and Trevor and even Connor Rowland, who you will see, by the way, on Saturday on our second week of Empty the Pitch here at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning Pacific time, that you kind of wondered how would the injury for Pulisic kind of in a way maybe set Team USA back a little bit, but not a whole lot there as Poach went the route, though, of adding in Ricardo Pepi to take the spot today. Even then, Team USA still does not miss much of a beat, though. But once again, it boils down, going back to the notebook here. So again, even without Pulisic, though, folks, another great start for Team USA, all off of another own goal as Cameron Burgess is the guilty party for the Aussies. A great play down the left wing side, rolling in by Flo Balogun, trying to center it for Ricardo Pepi, but knocked in, though, into the empty net by Cameron Burgess, who had the look of defeat on his face. That put Team USA up 1-0. Then, though, as soon as that happens, folks, Australia with back-to-back yellow cards in minutes 17 and 32, that kind of began to, in a way, look like Australia began to self-destruct. And sometimes, though, and we even said this, I think, last week about the Paraguay match, that you kind of felt, though, that once the U.S. got a lead, that something was going to boil over. Now, we talked a bit about how Paraguay had that whole entire snafu breakout back, last year when they had the big melee breakout with, all the red cards and the full-fledged fist fight. This became more about, in a way, like some petty BS going on, some ill-advised shots to the back or heads clonking. And the Australians really seemed like they had lost their focus. And I will, in a way, say in a small defense, the referee, though, today seemed to have let a lot of things go today. And I know that John Strong and Stu Holden tried to, in a way, back the official, but there was a lot of things, though, that got, not really called in this match. And that's not why I'm saying that Team USA won the match or vice versa. But there was a lot of things, though, it seemed like it went one way or the other. And I kind of, in a way, agree with how the Australian coaching staff were kind of like up in arms all match, because a lot of things that should have been called one way went the opposite direction when this game had played out, though. So even then, though, back-to-back yellow cards on both on Boss and also on Tricati for Australia, though. Then it's Alex Freeman, virtue of a VAR review, giving Team USA the 2-0 lead, though, off of a great set piece from down low, just outside the corner area of the box. Shot gets deflected. It gets knocked home, though. But of course, the phantom hockey style offside flag comes up, but then the VAR check is, and they even showed the whole entire, virtual angle. Alex Freeman was nowhere offside. So the VAR goes in their favor. And as John Strong said, that in a way lit that stadium on fire. And that is where the scoreline would end, though. However, then the second half was all about chippiness. Yellow card assist to Anthony Robinson. Another yellow picked up late by Flo Balogun. Joe Scully came into the game, and also another yellow was assessed too. So this game became more a bit of a fracas because of how the physical nature had gotten. A lot of some petty stuff, though, too, towards the very end, as we think we saw when Flo got that yellow. It was a double yellow with both him and the Australian player getting the yellow. Then we had the whole shoving match like 10 yards away from the ball happening and the referee being in the middle of the whole entire fray. So I do, in a way, applaud Team USA for doing their best to not take the bait. Because I think it's very hard, though, when you're in that kind of a game, though, and the emotions begin to run very high and dry, that you want to kind of, in a way, maybe take a swipe at somebody. And I think that John Strong and Stu Holden made a great point. Flo Balogun, I think, was very close to going after the player that kind of, in a way, chopped him down, at the very end of the game. And he had really kind of had to hold back that whole entire ordeal. But not much of a surprise with how the game wound up, though, when it came down the pipeline of the whole entire shoving matches going on and what have you. But either way, another great win for Team USA. And yes, Ben with a couple of USA flags in the chat box. But again, folks, Team USA winning over Australia 2-0 from Seattle. Another sellout crowd from the Pac Northwest, the first U.S. men's national team home game played in Seattle in the last decade plus, and what have you. But certainly a very great game and a great effort by the Stars and Stripes today to knock off the Aussies. So Australia can still, in a way, win, at least win that number 2 spot right now. But as I said, though, folks, there is still, though, a reward out there for Team USA by virtue of what happens in the Paraguay-Turkey match at 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 o'clock Eastern. That game now takes paramount proportion, because if Paraguay can pull out a W or a draw with Turkey, that will give Team USA that number 1 seed in the group and win them the group and clinch the group. So they are already in. So a lot like Mexico last night, Team USA now joins El Tri as the first 2 teams to clinch their spots right now in the round of 32 for Team USA. I'm going to go and pull up the box score real quick, though, folks. So if you do have some questions or comments about where things stand, please, again, feel free to fire away in the live chat box via YouTube or via Twitter at this rate and point in time. But also, man, got to be a tough game for Australia to probably, in a way, stew around about, because they played so well, it felt like, against Turkey. Now, Turkey's not really much of a pushover. But by the final box score, though, folks, real quick, final score again, Team USA 2, Australia nothing. Final shots for the game, 8-5, Team USA. Both teams 2 shots on target. Matt Freese had a couple of shots to stop today. Possession time, 63% for Team USA, 37% for the Aussies. Total passes completed, 494 to 249. Pass accuracy, 87% Team USA, where, again, Chris Richards, another solid effort for him. The only thing that scares me now, folks, is how Team USA approaches these yellow cards now. There was a lot of talk about them, and they did, though, in fact, pull Anthony Robinson, who got a yellow. Chris Richards picked up a yellow late in the game. So that is a bit of a small concern to look at, because now you've got 3 or 4 players all now sitting on, kind of in a way playing on thin ice come the last game with Turkey. One more yellow, that could be catastrophic for them come the knockout stage, including Robinson, including, players who've been on yellows so far for Team USA. Total fouls, 16-12 in favor of the Aussies, 4-3 with them with yellow cards, 1 offside that was eventually ruled off for Team USA, and they also had 7 corners as opposed to the 4 for Australia. So as the live table sits right now, Team USA, 2 games played, 2 wins, no losses, a +5 goal differential, and 6 points. The Australia national team, 2 games played, 1 win, 1 loss, a even goal differential of 0, 2 goals scored, 2 goals given up for 3 points. They are currently, though, still number 2. Barring what does happen in the Turkey-Paraguay game, somebody could realistically tie Australia on points and set up a major, major decision day for the 3rd and final round of games next week, back in Los Angeles and also in Vancouver or in Seattle come next Thursday. So it is going to be a huge, huge moving day for the 3rd and final day of the group stage come next week for where things stand. But again, Team USA in a very much, again, dominant fashion, thanks to an own goal back in minute 11 and a Alex Freeman goal after a long VAR, defeats Australia 2-0 here today from Seattle Stadium. Again, folks, there are still 3 more games coming up on the schedule today involving Scotland and Morocco at the top of the hour, followed up by Brazil and Haiti at 5:30 Pacific, and then, of course, the big game for Team USA and the Australian national team supporters out there, Turkey, Paraguay, 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 o'clock Eastern, for that decisive game where, again, that could, in a way, either clinch the group for Team USA or set up some major ramifications for the remainder of Group D, with where things currently sit, with Team USA on top with 6 points at this stage, 3 points for Australia. And as we said, right now, Paraguay and Turkey trying to get their first points of a tournament, which, as we have long been saying, though, but once more, Paraguay winning or drawing gives Team USA the group victory outright when it comes to where things stand. Wow. Great day again for Team USA. Want to kind of, in a way, folks, touch base on what we missed on Thursday. But again, we'll have a full recap, though, of everything that we have missed over the course of our show tomorrow, back here tomorrow morning. It's on Saturday. But results on Thursday. Great first game with Czechia tying South Africa 1-1 as the South Africans score a penalty kick in the 80th minute of play. Switzerland beats Bosnia 4-1. Canada finally wins their first ever World Cup match with a 6-0 clobbering of Qatar, and Mexico in an epic game with South Korea wins 1-0 from a sold-out Estadio Akron down in Guadalupe, Mexico on Thursday. For yesterday, and then tomorrow, another huge another huge day of games tomorrow involving the Dutch playing Sweden at 10 a.m., Germany and Ivory Coast at 1 p.m., Ecuador and Curacao at 5 o'clock, and then Tunisia and Japan at 9 o'clock in the evening. So another huge day for groups E and F coming up tomorrow on Saturday as things currently stand. Again, folks, we are in a bit of a time crunch today due to where things currently stand with our scheduling and also some other things going on as well. But I think, though, we all, in a way, as Team USA supporters, probably felt not having Christian Pulisic today, though, was like, okay, a little bit of a blow offensively, but you still felt, I think, a little bit you still felt confident, but not having Pulisic, though, today, which I think is, in a way, feels like it's a one-time thing. I think he'll be able to play next Thursday. He'll have more time to get that calf back to full strength or what have you. But he certainly, I think, going to the game, and I think Ben Cruz agreed, though, because he's like, oh, he's going to be active and playing. Then when the news comes out, he's like, damn. That kind of, in a way, hurts a little bit because that takes away one of your more dynamic centers, your center backs or one of your forwards in general, your attacking forwards. Even then, though, not even having CP10 in there, this offense still looked great. Now, again, there wasn't much doing, though, involving that own goal, again, set up by the Balogun pass in for Pepe that was knocked in by Cameron Burgess. But still, though, it just looked like Team USA was again right back in sync. But I also think, though, 2 matches in a row, though, where you score right away. You already put the opposition behind the 8 ball. Plus, when you've got the home crowd behind you, I mean, in a way, you're already kind of in a way. This might sound weird and stupid, but the fact though that you've got the crowd behind you, as Team USA has, though, you kind of already enter the match already up 1-0. Psychologically, you already lead the match. But you go out, though, and get your first 2 goals of the game within the first 11 minutes. Minute 7 against Paraguay. Minute 11 here now against Australia. You already kind of, in a way, put the opposition in a 2-0 hole because you got that whole stadium behind you. And now you just, so like you have the mental warfare plus the scoreboard warfare of going up early. But also, more importantly, you keep adding on, as they did, though, in minute 43. Now, again, that was a very fluky play in a way, though, about the shot being blocked, and then Alex Freeman knocks the ball in, ruled initially with that delayed offside, though, then the very long VAR review. And even when they went to the halftime show to show the actual view that they had, nobody was offside. They were on by a good 5 yards, though. So I'm glad. So I think that's also a good thing about the VAR, but that you keep adding on and you keep the pressure up. And I think too many times, folks, that a lot of people that are USA fans have been known to seeing this happen, that you have been so accustomed, sadly, to seeing, I think for this whole tournament, you've been so accustomed so far to a team scoring a goal, getting complacent, and then you have the opposing team scoring to tie it up. I know that has driven our good man Connor Rowland absolutely nuts this whole entire tournament so far about, so-and-so's on top 1-0. Well, damn, now it's tied at 1, or damn, now it's 2 on the opposing team. It's been that kind of a story this entire tournament so far. But I also think, though, that is perfect. That this might go down right now, from my perspective, as one of the more higher scoring starts to a World Cup tournament. You're not dealing with, 0-0 ties or what have you. Now, we have had a lot of draws where I send our group chats the Sir Patrick Stewart Picard gif from Star Trek of him doing the face palm, and it reads "another effing draw" whenever it happens, as was the case on Sunday. But I think, though, if you are right now kind of getting on board with the World Cup, you have to love that there's been so much offense, not just with Team USA scoring, 6 goals in 2 matches, but just in general. You've had a lot of, you've had a couple of the 7-1 games, the 3-0 games, the 6-0 game. But if you're getting behind soccer finally, I think you have to love the fact that there's been so much offense going on right now across the board. And so far for Team USA, 6 goals in 2 matches. Right now, again, as we've already said, they have moved on to the round of 32. But once more, I'm going to keep saying this. Tune in again tonight, folks, at 11 Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Paraguay, Turkey does carry some weight for Team USA. As I've already been saying, though, and it's been on the banner, if Paraguay pulls out a W or a draw with Turkey tonight, that will give Team USA the number 1 spot and clinch them Group D, which in a way kind of makes the Turkey match next Thursday almost null and void. And that, in a way, will probably put a lot of pressure on Turkey to play for their potential lives for either that 2 spot or that 3 spot, as we probably have not explained very well, but they are taking the top 8 third-place teams from all the groups, but based on ranking, based on gameplay, based on yellow and red card accumulation, a lot of factors go into it. So there's still, though, a lot riding, though, folks, for those number 3 teams right now in every group across the tournament so far, as things have gone on at the rate that we're going. So that's where things currently stand at this rate, with, again, Team USA on top with 6 points, the Aussies with 3, and, again, Paraguay and Turkey still held pointless right now after their first games of the tournament. But once more, folks, if you're just joining us, again, Team USA once more defeats Australia 2-0 from a sold-out Seattle stadium on a beautiful sunsplash day. So many great notable names in the house today: Russell Wilson, Ciara. Notably in the crowd today, Alex Morgan, alongside her former head coach, Jill Ellis. You name it, they all were there today, and what have you. And hopefully that everyone got a chance to tune in today with this Juneteenth holiday across the country, that the numbers will hopefully be good. Saw a lot of great videos again from all the watch parties across the country, from here in San Diego out to Seattle, what have you. and where things currently stand at this rate with Team USA winning once more. And we'll see what does happen. And Nick Morganson actually just shared a quick thought from Andrew Marchand, the great sports media insider, saying in part, if the tournament had not expanded, Fox's initial plan was to just have its studio shows outside games. But by the 4th of July, you should expect to see a lot of their studios outside of stadiums, as was the case, though, today with Rob Stone and all of the Fox shows right now involving their coverage from Pier 62 in Seattle. Again, there's been a lot of studio-driven coverage, though, but, of course, we're going to follow Team USA right around where, in fact, they're at across the entire country at this rate. But we'll see, though, where this is going to go. Again, I'll be at work tonight. I'll be leaving here for work in about roughly 10 minutes. But now, all of a sudden, though, now if you're a Team USA fan, now you're pulling here for Paraguay to just solidify that number one spot and win the group and not have to really worry about next Thursday. I think you want to kind of have that pressure taken off the team if Paraguay can take care of business. Because I don't think then that if that happens, you might be able to probably rest a few key guys, get some of the guys who have not really played yet. That only, though, happens if Paraguay pulls out the W or the tie today. Because right now, I think you might be a little bit concerned, as I kind of said, though, about how this affair with Australia got really, really physical and got really chippy towards the end. As I had said, though, again, Anthony Robinson was on a yellow today. Flo Balogun picked up a yellow at the very end of the match today. Tyler Adams was already on a yellow after the first match. So now you kind of, in a way, hope you clinch the group tonight on Friday, where you maybe are able to sit these guys for this round, for that final game. Because I think, though, the mindset changes, I think, if you don't have it done tonight for that game next Thursday. So you are rooting hard if you're a Stars and Stripes or a Yanks supporter. You are rooting hard tonight. Come 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific time, you are rooting very, very, very hard for Paraguay to pull out a W or a draw. I think for the sake to maybe let Pulisic get one more full week to recover from the calf injury, but also sit the players currently on yellow card accumulation. I think the last thing we want to have happen is to sadly see one of these guys get a yellow and they're out for the biggest game of the tournament come the knockout round, where now you don't have the safety net of having to play 2 more games against a group stage opponent, where it's win or you're going home. But that is where, folks, things currently stand today as we get ready to wrap up the program here as we get towards the half-an-hour mark of our show today. Once more, due to, again, with where things stand with some time constraints here this afternoon. But already, though, great response today, by the way. Thank you to the 250 fans. How fitting, by the way, 250 sitting a few weeks away from America's 250th birthday to celebrate a Team USA 2-0 victory over Australia. Again, once more, that already has clinched the spot in the round of 32 for Team USA. But all that matters now, can they win the group tonight? Will they have to wait one more week? That all, again, will depend solely on a Paraguay win or a draw over Turkey coming up at 11 o'clock Eastern time, 8 p.m. Pacific. With that, folks, in mind, still to come today on ETB, we are going to be back with our usual NFL coverage again with our good friends over at Gridiron Gurus coming up at about 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern. Again, we are back, though, folks, with you tomorrow in the early morning hours back here on June 20th with myself and Trevor Williams and our ETB betting expert, Connor Rowland, who just broke down World Cup betting alongside Nate Miller on UW earlier this afternoon. Connor will join us to talk all things World Cup and also about how you go about betting on the World Cup if you're a first-timer, and also for beginners out there for the program, as he has been loving life betting on the World Cup as time has gone on here over the past couple days. As Nick Morganson behind the scenes gives me a head nod about Connor being beyond ecstatic about betting on the World Cup over the past 7 days already. But again, folks, to wrap up once more here this afternoon from Southern California, Team USA 2, Australia nothing to at least solidify solidify a spot in the round of 32. But again, once more, Paraguay, Turkey carries weight. If Team USA sees Paraguay win or draw, Team USA will in fact clinch Group D in the group stage coming up tonight. But once more, goals today for Team USA. An own goal by Cameron Burgess for Australia, and Alex Freeman, after being ruled offside, has it overturned by VAR. So Team USA 2, Australia 0 from Seattle this afternoon. And again, once more, we are back with you folks tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time, with myself, Trevor Williams, and our ETB betting expert, Connor Rowland, to recap the full week and get you ready for Saturday's games as well, folks. Until next time, have a great rest of your day. Take care, and we'll see you back here tomorrow on ETP, back here at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Till then, folks, Callan McClurg, and for Trevor Williams and our producer, Nick Morgeson, have a great rest of your day, folks, and a great weekend. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.